Hey everyone, it's Brett from Hope to Prosper, and I'm here today at Salt Creek State Beach. And sorry it's a little noisy where I'm recording, but I just wanted to say thanks for coming along. Today's subject is going to be the secret of retirement. All right, thanks a bunch. Today I want to talk about the secret of retirement, or at least my secret of retirement. I'm actually going to share 4 secrets today. I call them little facets. And I think each one is equally important in its own way, and together they could benefit your retirement quite a bit. These aren't the common retirement advice about finances and expenses and withdrawal rates and stuff like that. These 4 secrets will help you get the most out of your retirement. Hopefully and enjoy it thoroughly and not just be worrying about all the finances. Finances are half of retirement. The other half is what you make of it and how much you enjoy it. So you stick around to the end of this video and watch the whole video. I promise you'll get something helpful out of it. Hopefully something that will really improve your retirement or improve your vision of what your retirement will be if you haven't retired yet. So let's get started. Item number 1, plan for the unexpected. Did you know that half of all retirees will retire before their expected retirement date? Half, 50%. So that's a lot. According to a survey by Alliance Life Insurance that I found on Yahoo Finance, 34% of workers will retire early because of a job loss, including me, and 25% will retire early because of health care issues. I don't know how that adds up to 59%, but it's more than 50%. So that's a lot. Another critical statistic is that 65% of workers expect to work past their normal retirement age, but only 7% actually do so. So that's kind of crazy. A lot of people are expecting to, say, work till 70, for example, and collect extra Social Security. But only 7% actually do. And it's a combination of a number of things. It's a combination of the 2 items we just talked about, job loss and health care issues. And then it's also, just by the time people get there, it just loses its appeal. Work loses its appeal, which is code word for people get tired and they're over it. So the chance of you making it to your full retirement age or the retirement age you choose is way lower than you might think. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you think about retirement planning. If you're planning to go to 67 or 70, you might not get there. Over 50% don't. So you would be in big company. And so that's kind of exactly what happened to me. And I could tell you all about it. I got laid off 2 years short of my early retirement age. I wanted to retire at 60, and I got laid off the second time at 58 and decided I was over it. And I did this all without a plan. And that's my number 1 regret, is that I didn't prepare before I was thrust into it. When I got laid off, I was so concerned about getting laid off, closing the facility, taking care of all my friends that got laid off, and trying to find another job that I didn't even give much thought to the fact that I would retire and I would need a plan. So I got stuck worrying about it for a couple months when all of a sudden I'm in retirement and had no plan. Instead, I could have spent the time planning, and my retirement would have been so much smoother and less stressful. So my advice is get yourself prepared before retirement finds you. Just if you're a couple years out, you know what? Run the numbers and see where you stand so that if it does happen to you, you're prepared. Right now layoffs are picking up. They're picking up steam, especially if you're a tech worker or a management individual or office worker. They're cutting headcount, and they're literally planning to replace a bunch of people with AI. And so don't be surprised if you get Pink Slip Friday one day. Anyways, let's talk about item number 2, choosing happiness, right? Have you ever considered that you could choose to be happy instead of choosing to be worried, stressed, upset, or depressed? I know that sounds far-fetched. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but in my opinion, it's true. you can literally choose to be happy, and you could avoid being unhappy. So some of the happiest people I know have overcome lots of problems, and yet they're really relatively unaffected by all those problems. They just overcome them, and they keep their positive attitude. Some of the least happy people I know, man, they seem to have everything. They got money. They got the family. They got the career. They got the nice cars and houses. They have everything, and they're not happy with any of it. So if you want to have a happy and a fulfilling retirement, you can choose to embrace the uncertainties and treat them as an adventure in your life, and instead of allowing them to cause you to be unhappy. So my story is, I've always been a happy person, even during the toughest of times. You know, I kind of have it together now, after 40 years of hard work. But man, when I started out, there were lots of tough times. Lots of tough times. When I first moved out, I had miserable times financially. And then when I first got married, it was brutal. So I had a lot of tough financial obstacles to overcome, but I always found a way to remain optimistic. And here are some of the things that have helped me. So these are actionable things that you can choose. You can help to make you happy. You can choose these things. First off is gratitude. You know, gratitude, it's magical, right? No matter what you have, if you don't appreciate it, you'll never be happy. And one of the easiest ways to appreciate something is to be thankful for it. So if you have gratitude and you appreciate the things you have, you will enjoy them so much more. I guarantee you. Second thing is to have optimism. I have a really, really good friend who's one of the most pessimistic people I know. And it's a bummer because he's a super nice guy. But he's literally made his life unhappy because he sees these things in a negative light. And, you know, that translates into experiencing things in a negative light. So have optimism. You know, when you have optimism, you always see the bright side of things. And even the problems, the obstacles, the things that are thrown at you, you have an optimism, and you have a way to overcome those things with a good feeling. The next thing is vision. You know, I've talked about vision, visualization. Man, it's helped me quite a bit. Seeing your future in a way where you're successful is huge. You know, vision and optimism go hand in hand. You have to have an optimistic vision of your life. And it's surprising how often those things play out in your favor if you have an optimistic vision. The final thing is generosity. You know, there are lots of studies done where, say somebody gives you $1,000, and you could either A, choose to spend it on yourself, or B, choose to spend it on someone else. And no big surprise that it's 3 or 4 times more positive if you help others than if you help yourself. If you spent that money on yourself selfishly, you'd be so much happier to spend that money on someone else. And my one remaining big life goal is to share with others and to help others and to take care of others. Because I know not only is this going to help others, but it's sure going to make my life better. So generosity is another big thing. So 3, how to avoid stress and depression. You know, stress and depression are just killers. I mean, not only are they bad for your health, your well-being, your outlook, but they just suck all the joy out of your life. So how can you avoid stress and depression? You know, there's no surefire cure, but there's a couple things I recommend. And I think they're helpful. I think they actually work. And by the way, this is not medical advice, right? Depression is a medical condition. Right? It's not something to be taken lightly, right? But in my opinion, there are things you could do for yourself that could potentially help you avoid some of these things, some of these negative feelings, let's just call it. So my first one is just turn off the news. The news is just designed to provoke you and outrage you and overwhelm you with all the negative issues of the day. I just turn it off. Once in a while I'll read the news, but I never watch the news on TV. It's just way too negative and depressing. Second, exercise and healthy diet. You know, one of the few things that is known, and this is by clinical studies, to help depression is exercise. And in my opinion, healthy diet's another big thing. I think junk food and other kinds of food, and they make you feel unhealthy. I think healthy food makes me feel so much better. One of the things I love is nature and sunshine. You know, I love to be out in the sunshine, at the beach, in the mountains, out in nature, and that seems to just wash away all my worries and help me out with my outlook. Another thing that's just known and it's proven is to interact with others. Don't be alone. You know, lots of retired Americans live alone. And if you are one of those, make sure you spend plenty of time with other people, interacting, join clubs, visit family, do whatever you have to do. Don't be alone. Being alone, I made a video about this about 7 months ago. It causes people to, it increases dementia, it increases depression, it increases a lot of things that are bad. So make sure you have plenty of social interaction. Once you retire and you lose your work friends, replace them with new friends or visit your work friends. Do whatever you got to do. Finally, item 4 is to try something new. I know this sounds kind of hokey, but you know, I think, you know, retirement is a magical time, right? And you have all this free time to do whatever you want, and you can choose to do new things. I mean, the last thing you want to do is to get bored or have monotony from doing the same thing over and over again. You know, if you think you're going to play golf 5 days a week, hey, if that makes you happy, do it. But if you start to get bored and thinking about going back to work, think about trying something new. Now's a great time to try new hobbies, new sports, new adventure, new social settings. And it's also a great time to learn new things and try new things and challenge yourself outside of your comfort zone. I mean, retirement's magical. You have all day to spend however you choose. So I strongly recommend trying something new in retirement. So in conclusion, I just want to say, you know, retirement isn't really that difficult as everybody thinks it is. You know, if you have a reasonable amount of resources and you don't have financial problems, the other stuff just can be dealt with. It's pretty easy to handle. There's lots of people, me included, who just fell into retirement and I done just fine. It started out really rocky, but by the end of the year, man, I just gained confidence the whole time. I know other people who just planned out every little detail, only to find out that their retirement was completely different than they expected. You know, either the little plan they made for themselves didn't work out, or they didn't enjoy it, or it wasn't what they envisioned. And so, you know, some people just dream about escaping their job, and that's their only goal, is to stop working their boring job they hate. But then they go into retirement and they don't enjoy that either, or they just lay around or sit around and don't do anything. So in my opinion, my recommendation: stay flexible, be ready to pivot, change things up. And so, I guess in summary, I would just say my secret to a happy and fulfilling retirement is to embrace the unexpected and enjoy the journey, watch it unfold, and live it till its fullest. And don't try to put your retirement into a box. Just allow it to unfold and enjoy it. All right, that's all I have for you now, and I will catch you next week with a new adventure. Okay, thanks for coming along. Had a great time. Dogs were pretty good, but kind of a handful. Have 2 of them. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed beautiful Salt Creek State Beach, and thanks for coming along. I wish you all health, happiness, and prosperity in your lives, and we will see you next week on our next big adventure. Oh, also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please think about doing so. I'd really appreciate it. Helps us out. All right, thanks a bunch.